Today I will speak on one of my biggest Achilles heel. I'd say that it is the only thing in my life I truly waste time on, and that is sleep. Now, what do I mean by waste time sleeping? You cannot really waste time sleeping. Well, what I mean by that is that the time slept is not the waste, is the excessive time that is very much necessary. Wait, I know it's not making any sense. It's the excessive time I spend sleeping that wouldn't be necessary if I optimize my sleep. What do I mean by this? So let's assume that I sleep on average 10 hours per night. But if I was more careful with things like consuming the foods, make sure that I chew them well so that my body takes less time to digest them, so it gets less tired. Make sure that I don't eat a couple hours before going to bed. Make sure that 1 hour before going to bed, I make sure that my eyes, or half an hour before, my eyes are not in contact with blue lights, and all these other things. Sleep in the correct position. Maybe my average time asleep per night would go from 10 hours to 8 hours and 35. So that's what I mean, excessive but necessary time slept. The time is excessive because if I optimized it, well, the time would be less than it currently is. But it's necessary because with what I'm currently doing, the sleep is not as good. So my habits are not as good, which leads my sleep to be greater than it really needs to be. In a way, I've always struggled with my sleep. I've never had really good sleep as long as I had responsibilities. Until recently. What do I mean by this? Responsibilities, like, let's imagine school. Back in my school days, I remember falling asleep while studying, just barely being able to keep my eyes open in class, at home when I was trying to study, because I had school where I'm from in certain years. The schedules were very demanding, and I'm not just talking shit. I mean, I spent my days when I had tests, which was about, so let's assume you're in school for 9 months. Let's at least put 4 of those months, 4.5, where you're actually doing tests, 2 a week, 1 a week, whatever. I generally woke up at like 7 a.m., got to school at 8, and even if I got out of school at like 1:15 p.m., I was studying until 6, 7 p.m. So every daggone day, from 8 to at least 6 p.m., sometimes even 7 or 8, I was either in school or studying. Then after that, I went to train. I got home a little bit late because the training, I used to go, if it was on Mondays, Wednesdays, or Fridays, it was from 8 to 9:30. Then you gotta come back home, which took half an hour, shower, eat, and you're in bed very late, at like 11. So you slept, what, 7, 8 hours? Probably less, because whenever I got home, I probably still had something left to do regarding to studying or homework. So I was always like living on edge, on barely any time left to do anything else. At the time, obviously, my time management wasn't the best. I was a kid, I played video games, so I wasted plenty of time. But nonetheless, I only played the video games on weekends. Honestly, they pretty much freaking saved my mental stability back then, because if I didn't have the video games to fall back on, like as a drug, like as people fall back on pills and all of that, I would have probably been very bad off. Like, video games was the only time where I could truly shut my brain off and just forget about all my problems and just enjoy the game. And I did enjoy those games a lot, like Counter-Strike, like FIFA. Sometimes I played GTA with some friends. PUBG, very fun game. those games helped a lot with keeping my sanity back then. So yeah, obviously I didn't have a very good relationship with sleep. I just remember just feeling tired all the time, just exhausted, like I'm dragging myself. Then obviously school ended in my last year of school, and I decided, as I've said, to dive full into entrepreneurship. But I still kept a very tight schedule with my sleep. I tried to, wake up, like I try to have a routine. And that's when I understand that I'm not a person who adjusts to routines at all. And I remember, like, I went to sleep at, like, suppose 11, and I had to wake up every day at 7 or some bullshit. It wasn't that I didn't have the discipline to do that. I could very well do that. It was just not something that I ever adapted to. It wasn't natural to me to go to sleep at this time and wake up at this time. So about 2 years later, after trying to have a schedule, just trying to be what people say disciplined, you won't be successful if you wake up late and all that garbage that I used to listen to, but it was just complete check garbage. I decided to completely let go and just do whatever felt natural to me. And let me tell you what feels natural to me makes no freaking sense. I'm going to tell you 3 days that I've tracked of my sleep. So I went to sleep at one day at 2 p.m., another at 11 p.m., another at 3 p.m. I know it makes no sense whatsoever. And I wake up either at night, I always wake up at night, because I love this time between, let's put it, 11 midnight to 6, 7 p.m. Quiet. It's perfect to work. But still, I feel like I sleep too much, and that's what I want to improve on. I don't sleep too much. I sleep what's necessary, but I want to reduce the necessary time I need to sleep by optimizing my sleep so I have more time to level up. I hope that makes sense.